Well, I'll use a bakery for example. The bakery is not going to cost the general fund anything. The bakery costs are coming out of the federal COPS money as well as the inmate services vocational fund, and it's going to immediately realize about a 50% saving in the bread that we're using in the jail, and that's going to be in operation in less than 45 days. I was hoping it was going to be in operation by April 1st, but I think we're going to be about a week past that. Other than that, we're continuing to reduce our mileage. We're continuing to work on the overtime. We have every other day conference calls with our command staff on overtime, and we're absolutely pinpointing where the costs are, and we think we can achieve some great savings. But one of the things, Supervisor McCowan, we have to realize is historically, as the summer months come up, that's when we have an increase in activity as well as an increase in vacation leave for the line staff of the sheriff's office. And so we are going to have some overtime come up, but we're going to maybe think outside the box this year. We're going to do things a little bit different to save the overtime. I can't say there's no overtime. As I said last week, the homicide that occurred in Fort Bragg 3 weeks ago was not a whodunit. We knew the second we got at the door that the outcome of the homicide. We knew the suspect. But it still cost us $15,000 to process that scene and to spend the overtime necessary to adequately perform a homicide investigation. So now if you compare that to a real whodunit, you're getting into extreme cost. And I hope it's not the direction of this board that we're going to cut costs in exchange for not performing our legal and moral investigations that we have to do. So we're trying to save money, but I guess I'm preparing you for something that I don't know if it's going to happen. None of us have a crystal ball. But if something happens, our overtime goes up.
Thank you, Sheriff. Tom Mitchell, you have the comment.
Tom Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer. Actually, it was a while ago. Just wanted to comment on those animal control officers. Want to remind the board that we only have, for the entire county, we have one officer employed. We have a second one, which I think we were going to make a job offer to. Don't know if that person's in the field yet, but because these people have to go to school and get trained, even though there is a hiring freeze, it takes a lengthy period of time to actually get them out in the field. So respectfully, the hiring freeze, it's one of those positions that your board might want to consider an exemption to at some point in time based on our budget because of how few officers we have in the county.
Sheriff, I got a question on this comet grant issue. The state grant went away, right?
No, we are expecting the Burns funding, and that's the comet grant. We're expecting the Burns funding to be 100%.
Then what part of the grant went away?
Well, last year it all went away, okay. But the stimulus package rejuvenated.
You mean last year the 8070 or 80809 budget went away?
Well, a third of it did.
Yeah.
We were funded up to a point.
My point is, it's been the policy of this board that when state grants went away, we never backfilled them with general fund dollars. And looking at here, and part of this, actually through the building and grounds, there was, in the comet budget, about $22,000 was paid for out of building grounds. And wouldn't that be a figure that the asset forfeiture, because I was looking in the comet asset forfeiture, you have $387,000 in. Wouldn't that be a figure that you could reimburse the general fund for?
I would have no problem doing that, Supervisor, Mr. Chair.
So that's a $22,000 savings you could.
Yes, our business manager, Norm Thurston, knows numbers much better than me.
Yeah, I've already heard your commitment. That's good enough for me.
Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah.
I've heard what I want to hear. No, go ahead, Norm. I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, don't confuse it with the facts.
I think I pulled my leg. Norm Thurston, Sheriff's Office.
We're already deducting that $22,000 as you speak.
And is that rent that you're talking about? Because there's quite a large amount of.
There's $414,000 that was paid for out of the building grant. I'm just looking at strictly the Comet budget.
A lot of that.
$21,961.
Yeah, and a lot of that is not paid from 2310, but is rather paid from, we get a DEA grant each year.
Yeah, I understand. I'm focusing on strictly I was trying to think a way of talking the sheriff into, it looks like I was successful, getting that $27,000 reimbursed
Johnny,
out of your comet.
Johnny, if there's a way we can do it, we'll look more today, we'll do it.
Okay.
If it's not already grant funded and we can figure out a way to do it, you have my commitment, we'll do it.
That's certainly good enough for me. Sheriff, one other thing, we talked, and actually we had a couple members of the public here this morning talk about the zip tie program. You know, I think it's imperative that we get moving forward with that because, as we know, it's approaching springtime and the growing season is out there. And I feel that the zip ties, the fee for those zip ties can include part of the, for lack of a better word, the monitoring of the marijuana industry out there. And so at our last week, I realize it's only been a week, but if the direction was for you and the auditor's office to get together to come up with a fee schedule, is that being worked on?
It is being worked on, and it was my plans to present it at your April fee schedule board meeting.
Yeah, even if you could do it, because what I'm concerned about is, well, I guess depends on the weather, but you know, I mean, it's gardening season.
I understand that.
And I don't want to miss that opportunity.
I understand.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of people comply and want to come forward and purchase zip ties.
I don't disagree with that.
And I think it can be a significant budget issue. I really do.
Okay, well, this last week was spent on other obligations as well as today's, the preparation for today's. And so the next 5 days will be spent on the zip ties.
Okay, and so you're in total agreement with it, working with the auditor's office to come up with a fee schedule?
Absolutely. Johnny, you and I have talked about
Okay.
this for many years.
Well, I know we talked about it once. It was like we had to have a person from the CEO's office. We've kind of bypassed that. It's just between your office and the auditor's office to come up with
Right, but the
it.
CEO has still been very instrumental in helping us get the right paperwork, so.
I just want to make sure that it gets moved along
Yes, it's moving rapidly.
before we miss springtime. Supervisor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also brought up this morning, and Tom, the last time that you were here before us was eradication fee and also responding to false alarms. There were 2 or 3 others. Now,
Coroner's removal fee, vehicle release fee. I believe there's a total of 7 fees that we're trying to get before your April meeting on fee structures.
would any of these need policy to go along with them? And what I'm suggesting is the Criminal Justice Standing Committee may want to address those policies and have them prepared or bring them back to this board at the same time. I'm not sure if that's before the horse before the cart or...
I think we can do that just in our regular fee schedule hearing process, which we normally do twice a year.
Okay.
But
Right. We're on schedule for those.
the zip tie program, I think it's a considerable
Okay.
revenue, and we don't want to miss these, frankly, the growing season of this spring coming.
I agree, Johnny, and you're not going to hear from me anything saying that the cost or the fees paid for the zip tie should go to the sheriff's office. I think that should go to general fund and help general government, because the sheriff's office, we have the money that we're already over budget, and I know that, but there's other county departments that need assistance too. So we're just trying to work with all county budgets and county departments and saying we're all in this together, and can it work?
So it'd be fair to say that we have the zip tie process on the fast track.
We do.
Okay.
We're zipping along.
Okay. Supervisor McCown?
Well, I would like to second Supervisor Brown's notion that we should move forward at the same time with the eradication fee. And I think that given the factors that you cited, both the zip tie program and the eradication fee could move forward on a different schedule than the rest of the fee schedule. Potentially those could come back to us on an expedited basis.
Okay.
And the auditor's office agrees? Meredith? Okay. Supervisor Brown?
Thank you. Sheriff Allman, I would like to just make the comment on the Redwood Empire Fair. That is state property, and it's actually